Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in for our latest daily Liverpool news show. Tonight's show will be going out live, but if you are watching this on the repeat, really do appreciate all the support on the last video. Get your comments in, get your predictions in. As you can see from the title and the thumbnail, it's the Premier League 2021/2022 Premier League table prediction. Let me know your 1 to 20, and we will be starting off from the bottom, working our way up the Premier League. That's my thoughts and opinions, but you at home, wherever you are around the world, drive these shows, and I really do appreciate all the support, Reds. We got Mickey, you got Shay, and Dave already in the chat as well, Reds. Dave, thank you very much for coming on, dropping in the stream, mate, as well. If you missed it, Dave, I've just been on with Dave LFC Chats. Head over to his channel, subscribe, and he's got a cracking video, cracking content as always. Head over there, subscribe as well. Really do appreciate it. It was a good show, cracking show with Dave as always. Mickey, how you doing, Mickey? That was a good game. Brentford have just won Arsenal, which we're not really surprised with, are we, Reds? Because they're an absolute shambles, and I think you'll see where I've put Brentford. No spoilers. Like, yeah, how you doing, Shay? Appreciate you tuning in, mate, as well. Andrew, Brentford, get in. Eamons, hello, fellow Reds. I'm good. Spot on there, lads. Hope you all had a lovely evening anyway. What have you been up to? Watching the football, which is great to see that as well. But we'll head over, Reds. As I said, it is a Premier League predictor. And as you can see, tending from that first picture, I have gone with Norwich City to go back down as well. Liverpool are playing them on Saturday afternoon. Well, yeah, the late kickoff, 5:30. It's going to be a tricky one for Norwich, really. Getting the right balance is going to be difficult, considering yes, they to play a very much expansive game of football. We've seen when they come into the Premier League 2 seasons ago, they went straight back down, and you have done a couple of seasons when they have come into the Premier League, really. For me, if Pookie can get a lot of goals, I know when he come into the Premier League 2 years ago, as I said, he was in so good form. You always need at least goal scorers. And for me, when I look at that squad, I think Buendia, they got a lot of money for him, but he will be a massive miss in terms of their creative output. So, Reds, let me know who have you got in your 20th position, everyone? Who do you reckon will be rock bottom? But let's have a look as well. Brentford played well tonight. Agreed. They will be bottom. Mickey, do you mean Norwich or Brentford? May let us know in the comment section below. I'm looking for Canate debut tomorrow, and I think Harvey Elliott is the Coutinho replacement we've had all this time. Watch this space, Andrew. He'll be a very good player for Liverpool this year. Very, very important. My name's Shane. I was an Arsenal fan right now. I would be very, very what, mate? Very disappointed, I think, as well. Hard new season, same old Arsenal. It very much is the case, Zuki, innit? I said on Twitter, same old Arsenal. I think we all expected this from Arsenal, their approach to the season. But Reds, let me know who you will be rock bottom in your Premier League prediction. Number 20, slap bang, and I will read out your predictions as well. Greetings, Jack, and to you all good people. Brennan, thank you very much for coming in the live stream, mate. I really do appreciate all the support. Brennan and chat as well. Who do you think will finish 20th? As you can see there to my left, or right, whatever. Got too many screens on the go. For me, Norwich will be going down rock bottom, but appreciate it, Brennan. I agree. Norwich will be bottom. So Shay has agreed with me. Brennan has gone with Watford. Very interesting for his number 20 as well. Norwich will be bottom. Mickey's gone with Norwich. Arsenal got Chelsea and City next. I've just seen their fixture file up. Anyway, wait till you see where I've put the Arsenal chat as well. Rock bottom. Arsenal, very much agree with that. They continue playing like they did tonight, Suki. I'm saying the promoted teams will find it hard this season, so I think they will go back down. Even who do you reckon to be number 20? I think a couple of years are saying Norwich to be 20th. Mr. Bucky, how are you doing, mate? Thank you for tuning in. Bucky has gone with 20. He's gone with Norwich. I think Norwich and Brentford will stay up. Very interesting one, Shane, there, mate. Interesting. It will be massive if Norwich do stay up in the Premier League. So, if you have just missed it, drop your number 20 in the league position below, and we'll move on to my 19th. Where's my cursor? My number 19 team in the Premier League. Where were we, Reds? And that is Watford. I know a couple of you have said already. For me, Watford, I'm not seeing a lot of business from them. When he did come into the Premier League, every single disappointed. Probably one of the most disappointing results I've seen from Liverpool in recent years is when we got absolutely battered by Watford 3-0, breaking our records really in terms of win streak. It's going to be very difficult for Watford. I know Emilia Sarr is still out there. Hughes as well. It'll be a pivotal in terms of their midfield. Decore, he's left for Everton. I know he did last season anyway, but I think he was a very much stalwart in their midfield, really. And is it not King? The lad that used to play for them? Let me know in the comment section below, chat. I think he's the striker, the English striker they have up front. Gray. I don't know if he's still there, but if they have any hope of surviving, this is number 19 for your Reds as well, chat. If Gray can get on the score sheet, get a couple of goals, I don't even know if he's still at the club, but Deeney, he will need to get at least 10 to 15 goals, really, for any chance for Watford to stay in. From a defensive point of view, Watford, I can't see past them staying in the Premier League. It will be a miracle for me personally, staying in the Premier League anyway. No worries. No worries, Jack. I'm watching an amazing YouTuber. Cheers, Bucky. Really do appreciate the support, mate, as always. Mickey Fries agreed, Watford. So you're going with number 20. Everyone, let me know who will be your 19th position team. If you want to get a pen or pencil, write down your 1 to 20 anyway, and just so you know you've put it in anyway. But so Mickey agrees with 20 for agreed with Watford. 19th, I think, Burnley, no business done again. Very interesting there, Bucky. I think a lot of people would agree with you that. Shea, he's gone with number 19th position in the Premier League. Watford, number 19th. 19th, Watford, Brentford, 18th. I think Eamon's jumped the gun here. Well, we'll find out with number 18, isn't it? Second, mate. But Watford, 18th. Bucky, have you put... Oh, I think you mean 19th anyway. Bucky, do you mean Watford 19th or 18th? I know you put 18th there. But for me, do you think Southampton will be 19th because they lost Danny Ings, now lost Vestergaard, and now about to lose James Ward-Prowse to Villa? It's a very interesting one, Brennan. I know a lot of fans, neutrals as well, very much being in agreement. Unless they do replace Danny Ings' goal output, hopefully they sign Divock Origi offers for 20 odd mil. But yeah, I could see a lot of shouts there, Brennan. I think obviously as we go throughout tonight, I think a lot of people will have Southampton down there quite down in the pecking order. Watford, Crystal Palace, and Brighton will be the bottom three. That's for Shea. Watford finish 18th and Burnley finish 19th. Very interesting there, Bucky, mate. And then we'll move on to number 18th place. And I think, that's backwards. And that's Crystal Palace for me. I know it's a big shout anyway. But for number 18th in the Premier League, let us know your thoughts on that. Crystal Palace, Vieira, it's very difficult. Vieira could either go good or bad for Patrick in terms of his managerial stint. He had an absolute stinker in Ligue 1. I think it was with Nice or one of them anyway. And for me personally, I don't think he's got the managerial ability or the experience, really, of competing at the highest level in terms of a managerial front. Obviously, he was a world-class, legendary player on the pitch, but it's a very difficult battle in terms of the dugout. For me, Crystal Palace done well to keep hold of Zaha, but in relation to their players, I think Eze, I don't know, I'm not too sure. Let us know if Eze's back, chat, as well. I don't think he is, but Eze will be very pivotal for any potential survival for Crystal Palace this season. I watched him over the last couple of seasons, really, and Roy Hodgson, as much as we laugh and joke, really, I think he more or less was a dinosaur, but he was a very good dinosaur in terms of his knowledge and experience of the game. He knew what the job had to be, and that was just to keep Crystal Palace afloat every single season. But I think the writing will be on the wall for Crystal Palace. So that is a big shock. I know Brenneth mentioned Southampton. Well, we will mention them in a little second, but yeah, very intrigued to who you think will finish 18th place in the Premier League. And make sure to get your comments. Watford finish 18th and Burnley finish in 19th. Shay has gone with, I think the relegation spot will be very tight this season. I'm intrigued. Here with me 1 second, everyone. Apologies. Just getting that thing up. So get your the 18th prediction, really. So for me personally, I have got Crystal Palace. But as Shay said, it's always going to be a difficult spot. The Premier League's got a bit more competitive this season, hasn't it, Reds, in relation to the quality in the league? But there's always one or two teams. Sheffield United done absolutely shocking last season in relation of they got completely found out. And I don't think no one really expected. I think everyone had Sheffield going down the first season, but not in the second season in relation to how good they played. But for me, Crystal Palace going down in 18th. But Eamon, Southampton could be dragged into it. I think a lot of people are saying Southampton. Mickey is going with 18th for Burnley. 18th for me, Burnley, and the fact I can't watch us play against them for another season. Yeah, I was low. I've put, well, you see where I've put Burnley now. Jack, let's all laugh at Arsenal. Gary, how you doing, mate? Well, we all expected it, Gary, didn't we? And everyone in chat, we spoke about it last night, and it's the Arsenal Football Club, really. I think Arteta will do very well to stay in the job till Christmas. I don't think he'll be there very long. And fair play to Brentford, but it doesn't take a genius given how well they played last season in the Championship. They're no mugs at all. And if Tony can get at least 10 to 15 goals, it'll be massive for them to stay in the league. Regardless of the ability of and quality of players, at the end of the day, if a finisher is a finisher, and if you put him between the sticks, I know the quality of the opposition does get improved in the Premier League, but he's a very good attacker, Tony. Roy was good enough for a mid-table team, but gave me nightmares when he was in charge of us. Glad those days are gone. Fabian, how you doing, mate? Hope you're keeping well. Long time no see. Yeah, very much agree with that, mate. I think Roy will be a massive miss for Crystal Palace this year. So Sean has gone with 18th place, Crystal Palace. So that wraps up my relegation zone, but I'm made up to get your predictions in anyway, Reds, as well. Brentford will be a tough ground to go to, and their fans are allowed as well anyway, definitely, mate. Bucky, 17th, Arsenal not good enough anymore. They got dominated off from Brentford. If Brentford can do what they to them, then what can Liverpool do to them as well? It'll be interesting, Bucky, how it's done. You'll find out where to put Arsenal. I don't think any of you will be surprised. Jack Watkins to Liverpool, is this Tosh? I've not seen it, mate. I would have put it in the title and thumbnail, mate. Gary, I don't think he'll come to Liverpool, mate. I think he's very settled, and I think he's currently injured at Aston Villa at the minute, mate. So wouldn't read too much into it, Gary. But he's a decent player, but I think he wants to be playing first team football. And if he did come to Liverpool, he's not guaranteed first team football anyway. Arsenal looking like they will lose their first 3 games. Chelsea and City up next. Yeah, I've only just seen that. I know Dave and you all mentioned at the top of the show their fixture pile up. It's absolutely atrocious to say that, at least. So we've went. Just a quick recap. I went with Norwich 20th, 19 Watford, Crystal Palace 17th, and number Crystal Palace 18th. Sorry, 20, 19th, 18th, and then number 17th is that saying? Hang on. I've done that wrong, haven't I? Here we go. Let's quickly move that. I put Burnley. Yeah, there we go. I'm gone. 18th. Palace. There we go. There we go. Apologies, everyone. So I have got Burnley as my 17th place team anyway. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, Reds. Who is your 17th place Premier League side? Burnley, I know a couple of years have already said they'll get relegated this season. The fighting fire with fire this year, aren't they? Last season, they were absolutely disgusting to watch. Like, they're not really a good team to watch. I'd be scratching my head if I was a Burnley fan. Just the approach. Don't get me wrong. I think always get take up to when I'm on live. It's disappointing from a Sean Dyche point of view. Ideally, I think if you asked him, he'd love to go out and buy a load of players. But for me, if they continue the way and the football and brand in which they have been playing, yes, it's a brand of football that gets them staying in the Premier League. Sean Dyche, it needs a catastrophic error in judgment in terms of them getting relegated this season. But for me personally, they are just about surviving. 17th for me. But yeah, we are up to 17th place, Reds, as well. So get your 17th place finisher in the Premier League for this season. Yeah, read that one. Andrew, 17th. 17th for me, Crystal Palace. Very much interested in that, mate. I know I did have Palace, but Shay has gone with 17th Crystal Palace. Southampton will stay up because they have a brilliant coach, good vibes. Shane, very interesting. I think a lot of people have put Southampton to be in and around there, the bottom anyway. But I don't see how Burnley stay up. They had the same squad for the years now, and hardly no signs to see them in the Championship next season. It's going to be a very difficult season for Burnley, Bucky, innit? And for me, I've got them finishing 17th. I was very hard pressed with Burnley either going to be 17th or Palace being 18th, 17th, sorry. So, and then the next squad, if I've done my pictures right, should be that team Southampton that a lot of you have already said, chat as well. So a lot of yous, Paul, hello mate, Paul from the why is that zoomed in? 1 second, everyone's apologies. So, here we go. Hello, mate. Paul from Liverpool is going to go with Arsenal just being beat. Paul, I know a couple of you have already shouted Arsenal being 17th or 18th. But, as you've already mentioned, chat as well, they have got a terrible running and they could be definitely down the bottom anyway. Make sure I haven't missed all your comments. Andrew... But yeah, I hope you're having a lovely night, Paul. Anyway, appreciate you dropping in. Southampton 17th. So let me know your 17th place team in the Premier League. As you can see, I've gone with Southampton for me, the loss of Danny Ings, as a load of you have already said, it was between Southampton, Burnley, and Palace for me. They're going to be very close. All three of them, for me personally, will be in and around the bottom. Southampton just staying up due to the fact of Ralph Hasenhüttl. I think he's a very good coach, and it will come down to whether Patrick Vieira does improve or Sean Dyche can improve off the back of last season's performance. And as Bucky already alluded to, Burnley haven't definitely signed a lot of players, and Vestergaard has just left Southampton as well over the last 24 hours. For me, Ings and Vestergaard were very integral for any potential Premier League survival. But for me, I've just about got them surviving with Burnley, Southampton as 17th anyway. So let me know your thoughts on that, Reds. Come on, Reds. Hope we smash it this season. Let's bring that trophy back. That's it, lads. That's the winning spirit, mate. And you'll see where to put Liverpool as well, mate. Yes, agree. Southampton, they will need a quick fire signing with players they are signing. So Bucky is went with his 17th place as Brighton. It's an interesting one. Brighton, in terms of them staying up, they just lost Ben White in relation to Arsenal. It's how they invest that money. Will they go and put a bid in for our lad Phillips at the back? I think he'll be a very good replacement for White. Not like for like in quality, but in terms of defensive quality. I think he's a better defender than Ben White. I think it's a big shout, but for me, Brighton need a couple more signings. But they play very positive football under Graham Potter. He's a manager that actually is very good tactically. He's very underrated, and given the squad in which he has at his disposal, Bucky, we'll discuss Brighton in a little second there, mate. Hey, Jack, I'm not watched alive in a while, but been watching the videos. Not sure who will be the 17th, but can see Arsenal. Arteta being the first manager to be sacked. Fabian, no worries, mate. I know not everyone can watch the live streams. Obviously, people are in bed or they're busy with their lives. But Fabian, really do appreciate it. And every single one of you that do continue to support the channels as well. I do try and engage with every single one of you. And if I don't reply to your messages in the comment section straight away, I will always get back to you anyway. But absolute legend, Fabian. Hope you had a lovely week anyway, mate. But yeah, you're very much spot on there with Mikel Arteta. He will very much. He's basically just got the job on a whim, really, in terms of putting cones out for Pep. But as Bucky has just alluded to, so Reds, let me know who will be your. I think I might have missed out a team, but where are we up to here, Reds? You have mentioned 17th. So 16th. Have I gone through? Yeah, I've had Burnley, so I've had that one. Burnley, Southampton. So this should be our number 15th, even right. The Kindle can't count. So, lads, what do you reckon? 15th position now. Bucky's already mentioned Brighton, and we've already mentioned that man in the corner, Ben White. Really, they'll have to do well. And in terms of, I think Danny Welbeck has been injured as well now, so it's going to be a difficult season. But for me, I've got them finishing 15th for me. Let me know. Bucky, sorry, Jack, got to go to sleep now. Got to watch a football match tomorrow at 11, but I will tune in next time. Bucky, don't have to apologise. Hope you have enjoy the footy tomorrow, mate. But it's great to see the footy's back. But have a good night, mate. I think you should have Southampton at 16. Shay, is that where you're putting Southampton? Yeah, Southampton. Yeah, sorry, La. Yeah, Southampton at 16th. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. Good to know where Shay's paying attention over the me. Well, I am paying attention, but it's thing when you got so many graphs up that you're trying to get. So yeah, we got Southampton, and we got, for me personally, we've got Brighton after it, and then the next team after Southampton, I should have really put numbers in the corner of the pictures, but apologies, everyone. But for me, I've got Newcastle United as 14th in the Premier League. Reds, let me know who you think will finish 14th. Crystal Palace, not Crystal Palace, Newcastle United. The fans, the Geordies, will be absolutely massive for Newcastle this year. We've seen how good the Newcastle atmosphere has always been at St James's, especially with the fan aspect as well. Really taken into account fully full stadiums. It's probably one of the best atmospheres in the Premier League when you've got a whole 55 odd thousand Geordies going for it. And for me, Steve Bruce, he does a job. Doesn't play a nice attacking brand of football, but he gets the job done. Bit like Sam Allardyce. I know Sam Allardyce got relegated last season, but a manager that you can trust. And if St. Maximin can stay fit this year, he's one of my favourite players to watch. Really puts you on the edge of the seat, really. And obviously Fraser, Fabian Schär. I know a couple of players did leave, but Joelinton, he was coming into a bit of form the back end of last year. He was getting on a couple of goals anyway. But if you can get Joelinton scoring, and obviously Callum Wilson, for me, probably one of the signings of the season last year from Bournemouth, going to Newcastle. If you can get Wilson back fully fit and St. Maximin firing as always, and Miggy Almiron can chip in with a bit more goals, I think I've had Newcastle is finishing 14th. Make sure it is. We are going to make. Are we going to make any signings? I think we will, Shane. Just bide our time, mate. There's still plenty long way to go in the transfer window, La. Pretty sure we will. Thanks, Jack. Have a good weekend also. Cheers, Bucky. Appreciate you dropping in, mate. Brentford, 15th. Even with a good result tonight, it's still all about survival for them. That's very interesting, that Shay. And I've got Brentford finishing a bit more higher up the table there, mate. But and he's gone with 14th for Brighton. Seamus, what are your thoughts, chatter, as well on Graham Potter? I know for me personally, he's one of the most underrated managers in the Premier League, and he was put into the frame of Everton in terms of their management. And I know all the Everton fans were like, no, we don't really want Potter. But for me, he's probably one of the most underrated managers. So Shay has gone with 14th Reds. Let me know who your 14th place team in the Premier League will be. And we'll move on to this team now. So that's 13th place above Newcastle. For me personally, Nuno will be a massive miss. In terms of them getting Raul Jimenez back due to his head injury last year, it's great to see him back on a football pitch. This is going to be a weird one, Wolves, this year. This could go either way in relation to their positioning in the Premier League. For me, they could finish in the top 10 very easily with the players in which they've got, like Moutinho, Neves as well, all the Portuguese lot. But for me, similar to Patrick Vieira, I've not seen a lot of their manager. I know he was the manager in the Portuguese league. It was a Porto or one of the other top teams in Portugal anyway. But for me, I think it'll take a while in terms to get his philosophy of football and brand of football straight to the players, really, for me. So number 13th for me, lucky, unlucky for some, I have got Wolves finishing 13th there as well, Reds. So we'll go on to the next side now. And finishing, make sure I got this right, finishing 12th is Arsenal Football Club. I know it's a big shout and probably go, what? But for me, Arsenal Football Club will finish 12th. It will be shocking in terms of Aubameyang is injured. Lacazette's injured. Joe Willock has just left to Arsenal, which is crazy decision. The fact that Arteta had Saka on the bench today says a lot about Arteta in relation to him as a manager. Probably Arsenal's best player, Saka. Granit Xhaka, is he going to be staying at the football club? Ben White, great signing for Arsenal, but in relation to their defensive crisis, in which they always do every season, I know they come into the form last year in relation to improving the back end of last year, but for me, Arsenal, it's a big shout, but for me, we'll be finishing in the second half of the table in 12th position. And this is it. So let me know your thoughts. Who you feel will finish 13th in the 12th in the Premier League table anyway. As we mentioned, I had Wolves as finishing 13th, Arsenal as 12th, and that's it. Brentford, for me personally, will be finishing where are they? 11th in the Premier League. Massive, as we've already alluded to. Great result by Brentford tonight. But for me, if they continue playing like they have, I know it's against Arsenal. I think if we were playing or a Leeds, everyone will batter Arsenal this year. But for me, Brentford, given the football in which they put on display last year, I think they'll be one of my surprises of the season. I've got them finishing quite high. As you can see there, Reds 12th, 11th for me. So that sums up the second half of the table and going into the top of the Premier League now. I know it's very harsh to put Leeds at the minute as 10th. They're a very good footballing side. And for me, you probably will finish a bit higher up in the table. Keeping players fit will be a massive issue for Leeds United, considering they struggled with injuries similar to us, Leicester, last year. If they can keep Rafinha fully fit, and they've just signed Jack Harrison on a full-term contract, which was great for Manchester City this window. But for me, Rodrigo, if he can continue to score the goals, I know he didn't score a lot last year, but Patrick Bamford is very much going to be very much their shining light. I've only put Leeds at 10th this year due to the fact that everyone knows how Leeds United play now. Yes, they'll press like anything. They are one of the fittest teams in terms of the amount of minutes and miles they do run. But for me, I've got them finishing 10th. I can't see them really improving. I think a lot of teams will sit back against Leeds now and look to really expose them in behind. So let me know your thoughts on your 10th place team there, Reds. I don't know why my comments aren't loading, but make sure you do get your 10th team in there, Reds. And for number 9th, I've got West Ham finishing 9th in the Premier League. They need to sign a striker. I know you're probably going, what? You're finishing West Ham above Leeds? David Moyes, he's a very experienced manager, and we've seen how well they did play last year in relation to that. But Antonio, if you can keep him fit, Shushchak, in relation to him playing in midfield, probably one of the most surprising performers last year. But Declan Rice, if they can keep him at the football club, but it's crazy. It's going to be difficult. If West Ham do get a couple of injuries, I can see them definitely coming down the table. But I've only put West Ham this high. I know they had a phenomenal season last year. But for me, it's going to be a big stretch, especially if they don't sign any attacking players in relation to that as well, Reds. So that's, for me, I've got West Ham finishing 9th. And then we've got this lot, and where have I got them as finishing 8th? Just Rafa Benitez. I think if he did finish 8th in the Premier League with Everton, I don't know how Everton fans would deem that. Would that be a classic successful season for me, given if Rafa did finish there in his first season in the Premier League, manager of Everton, they've not really done a lot of business. They've got certain players that have left the club. Obviously, you know the reasons in that as well. Calvert-Lewin, if you can get him up scoring, he started well last year. Calvert-Lewin didn't he chat as well, but I can't see them really finishing that high up in the league table. So I've got them as finishing 8th. It's going to heavily rely on, similar to West Ham, a lot of those players very much staying fully fit from their first to 11. But for me personally, John, hi Jack, mate. Hope you're well. Sorry and late. Some reason your video's not coming up on my phone. Peas me offload. John, what phone have you got, mate? Have you got an Apple or a Samsung? No worries, mate. You don't have to apologise. But hope you had a good night, John. Anyway, really do appreciate it. We're just going through our 1 to 20 chatter, just dropping in this the league finishes for all these teams. But we're currently up to 8th place, Everton, John. So for me, we're getting very close to seeing who finishes top of the Premier League. And for that was 8th place finish for Everton. Number 7th place in the Premier League for me will be Spurs. I was to and fro with this, Reds as well, and everyone at home. If they do keep hold of Harry Kane, they will finish higher up in the league. Not by 3-4 positions, but I think it will be a case of possibly 1 or 2 places. But they'll be heavily reliant on Heung-min Son up fronts, really, and to try and get the goals. Harry Kane, if he does leave, then they will definitely finish a lot lower than 7th for me. And the surprise package of last year, and for me, they will improve and they'll jump up to 6th place in the Premier League. I was very hard pressed, really, in relation to, I wanted to put Aston Villa a bit more higher, but I was thinking there's no way they can finish higher than Leicester. But if Leicester were to have a bit of a shaky start or shaky midway through the season, and Aston Villa can be a bit more consistent in terms of the back end of the year, so likes of Buendia, Bailey from the Bundesliga, Bayer Leverkusen, Danny Ings. It's so important to get a goal scorer. They've got him in now. I know Ollie Watkins is injured this weekend, possibly. But for me, if you can get Watkins and Ings fired, and they can very much go high up in the league table anyway. Mings at the centre back as well. And I think they're possibly looking at James Ward-Prowse anyway. So for me, I've got the Villa finishing 6th. And 5th, I have got Leicester City. Yes, once again, missing out on a Champions League spot, which they won the Community Shield this weekend. Well, this week just gone. It's going to take a massive season. They've got just signed Daka. Really, just signed that lad from, was it Nice, who won the league in France anyway last year. You just signed Vestergaard, as we've already mentioned, Southampton, from Southampton as well. They've got a very good squad and a very good manager. But for me, it'd be same old Leicester over the last couple of years. Will be finishing outside of the top 4. And now we've got into the top 4 positions now in the Premier League. And that is Manchester United. For me personally, will be finishing 4th. It was difficult. If they do finish outside the top 4, it'll be absolute shambles by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, really, in relation to the sheer money in which he spent. And top 4 is definitely a priority for Manchester United. And for me, I see them finishing 4th. Anything less will be an absolute disaster in relation to their Premier League campaign as well. John, Samsung mate, just in the middle of buying a new one, really. Peed me off last night, missed you live, but watched it today. Really do appreciate it, John. I know it might not be a phone, John, as well. I know YouTube have not just mine, but I know Connor and a lot of people will subscribe to other YouTubers. They haven't really recently been getting the subscriber notifications, so just untick your notification bell on the subscription or any YouTubers that you do like, and fingers crossed you can get the notification anyway. Don't know if you've spoken on it, but what were you saying about Arsenal tonight? Yeah, John, the same old Arsenal, mate. As we was in the top of the show, I think everyone foreseen this in relation to the performance from Arsenal. Brentford are a very good footballing side. Their manager is a cut above Mikel Arteta. You could see him making substitutions. The Brentford manager, I can't quite remember his name, but in terms of he's very good, and you could see that's what a manager does, makes changes on the 60th, 70th minute. Even when you were 2-0 up, they were making subs. They were making attacking subs, and the manager all boss on him. He wanted an extra couple of goals as well. Gareth, how you doing, mate? Hope you're having a good night, mate. Appreciate you tuning in. Man, you have some good signings, but they have before, and they have not paid off. Gareth, it's a difficult one with United, isn't it? As much as we joke about them, they have got good players, but they've got Solskjaer as their manager, and he's basically a PE teacher. A better coach, a Klopp or a Guardiola, would very much be getting a better song out of that Manchester United side. And if they were to finish outside the top four, as I said before, Gareth, and chat, it'd be an absolute disaster. But for me, I've got them, for me personally, finishing fourth. Where do you reckon United will finish, Reds? Let us know. Chris, evening, Jack. How you doing, mate? Man United not finish above fourth for me. They got the Norwegian column from Lord of the Rings in charge. Yeah, very much agree with that. I think it's out to Ollie and Rafa to be first managers to get the sack this year. It's United are a weird one, aren't they, chat, as well, in relation to he starts off well, then you go through a phase of playing bad, start off playing well again, then it's Ollie in, give him a new deal, a couple of dipped results, really, Ollie out, and then Ollie back in a couple of weeks after as well. I don't think the fan base can really decide. Great result for Brentford, very much so. I predict Brentford to beat the freak of nature, Arsenal. So we're going into the business end of the Premier League now in relation. I mean, Max having a bloody nightmare here. Zoom out. I want to show everyone who've put us third. So as you can see, you've just seen who's finishing. So that's a bit spoiled. But I've got third as Chelsea. I know big Romelu Lukaku will be a great signing. There's a difference between having Lukaku up front and Timo Werner in relation to that. Yeah, sorry, John. It's before I was going to show you that. But let me know, who do you think will finish third? Reds, Chelsea, off the back of winning the Champions League. I know a lot of people have even said, I even seen that tweet from all the reporters saying that they see Chelsea winning the league. Don't get me wrong, they'll do very well this year. But for me, I think City and Liverpool will be a bit more better equipped in terms of challenging for a league title. So, and I've got Manchester City finishing second. Yes. So, nothing to add on Man City, really. We just want to talk about the winners of the Premier League. For me personally, this year, as I've already been speaking to all you in the comment section below over the last couple of weeks and nights, it's going to be a great season for Liverpool, for me, Reds. I know even if we don't sign one or two players and improving the fringe player quality, for me personally, it's going to be back to business for Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk back in the team, Gomez back full fitness as well, fully fit Naby Keita and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain if possible, and the resurgence of Harvey Elliott back in this Liverpool team. Had a phenomenal game and a couple of games last season and in the Championship, and he thoroughly impressed. But let's get to your predictions as well. I've got Jackie. I've got us first low. Really don't think we can win it, even if we don't sign anyone else this year. For me, John, I'm very positive. For me, Liverpool, as we've been speaking to about or over the last couple of nights, for me, Liverpool will be finishing top. But that caps it off, really, Reds. Thank you very much to every single one of you that has tuned in tonight and got involved. So shout out to John, the Anfield Lark, Chris, Gareth, who just dropped in there as well, Shay, Mr. Bucky, Eamons, Paul, Shane, Eamons as well, Dave, LFC Chats as well, Zuki, the absolute legend, Mickey, and Andrew as well. Every single one of you, thank you very much for tuning in. We say it every per season, but we looked unreal. Really, how's Nabby lads as well. But Reds, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow for another live stream. And if any news relation breaks, I'll be here as possibly can. But Reds, have a lovely rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow for another live stream. You'll never walk alone, Reds. Good night.